Good afternoon and welcome. This is the Engage Buddies Support Surgery, where we'll be talking a little bit about submitting for the CREST Awards. Thank you for coming. We will get into introducing the buddies who are attending today in a minute or two. First of all, I'd like to welcome you here. My name is Susan. I work in the education team at the British Science Association, and I'm joined by my colleague Christine, and we can answer your questions about submitting, as can our buddies, who I'll introduce in just a minute. Just to let you know, this session is being recorded, and we will make the recording available to everybody who registered. You are welcome to put any questions you have in the chat. I also think we'll have lots of time once we get going to ask questions if you just want to put your hand up. So without further ado, I'm just going to start very simply on the assumption that everybody who's attending knows what CREST is. And one thing I'd like to just briefly stop on is have a look at this very basic diagram, just give you an idea. When we're talking about submitting for CREST, what are we talking about? So the first step in a CREST journey, if you like, is probably not on this chart, but is selecting some resources or some projects that you want to do with your young people. Then those young people do those projects, and depending on the CREST award that you're working toward, that might be a single project, or for something like STAR or Superstar, that would be a minimum of 6 challenges. And you've probably seen lots of lovely resources in our resource library, but if not, we can share those links with you later. And then before and getting ready to the point of submitting for CREST, you would, as the educator, check through and make sure that the completion of that project has been done according to the criteria. So you would be making sure that what the young people have accomplished meets the criteria for that level of CREST project. And then you would come to submit the project. And basically you do that through an online application platform, where you're asked some questions about the project that the young person or young people have completed, asked for some demographic information, to make payment if you're paying for the CREST Awards, or to enter your voucher code if you've been a recipient of a grant. And that is the point at which you have begun submitting your CREST Award. Now, there's 2 pathways then, what happens next. For STAR, Superstar, Discovery, and Bronze, there is no external assessment of the young person's work, although for Bronze, you do need to upload a sample of their work, which is just for us to take a look at. If you're submitting a young person's work for Gold or Silver, or perhaps they're submitting for themselves, those projects are assessed by expert assessors at the British Science Association. So they go through a cycle of assessment where the criteria the project is measured against the criteria, and assessed whether or not those criteria have been met. Occasionally, if they've not been met, another level of award is offered. So if a student has submitted a gold award, for example, and it's thought that the criteria has not quite been met, there might be an offer of a silver award or some areas to rework in order to resubmit. But ultimately, once the project and submission meets the eligibility requirements, then the CREST Award is awarded. And that's when the certificates are sent out. So you'll see the 2 different pathways. Young people get the certificate when the CREST Award is awarded. So I just wanted to stop and have a look at that for a minute. Before we get too much further, I just wanted to have a little bit of a pause and think about those certificates. And one thing we think is really important about the CREST Award is that it's non-competitive, and that all young people who complete the project work are properly celebrated for their achievement with a nationally recognized science award. And there's just some lovely quotes on there about what it's meant to young people, and what the teachers have observed about the importance of those rather lovely certificates. So I would love to introduce you to our buddy who is here today. One of our buddies had to drop out at the last minute, so I'm going to just stop sharing and welcome Lucy to introduce herself.
Hello, I'm Lucy. I have been a buddy, I think, pretty much since the pilot started. I work in a primary school, and I have quite a lot of experience with STAR and Superstar.
Thank you very much, Lucy. Farnaz, if you have any questions that you would like to ask any of us, Lucy, or those of us who are at the BSA office, you can happily do so directly in the chat or raise your hand. Otherwise, there are a few things that I was going to suggest Lucy talk about, or that I share some other input from other buddies who weren't able to be here today. Hello, how are you?
Oh, hello. Hello. It's a great opportunity to actually interact with you because basically I'm very new to CREST. So I have been running the pizza project for a small group. So they finished now another group. So I will, the bronze project. So we have SEN students with EHCPs and it's been very encouraging, very engaging. So now within SEN, basically I work in SEN, I'm a HLTA. So in SEN, we want to actually expand that. So we've been looking at a star, superstar, and discovery, but we have no experience of that. But the previous session I was put in touch with another, I think it was Rachel, another buddy, who gave me some tips and shared some resources. But basically, that's the thing, because I'm at the beginning of journey. Seriously, I'm thinking of running a star and superstar and discovery for some of our students. There are students who, yes, we are a secondary school, but we are working with special needs students who may not be able to access bronze or even sometimes discovery. So we want to make sure they access the science curriculum. So I did have a look. I have started applying the application on the sign-in. I signed in, I started filling. So some of the things that caught my attention. So we want to pre-order some certificates for discovery. It did ask for name of project. So you need to, even if you're pre-ordering for discovery, you need to know the names of the project that you want to do, even though you're still discussing it. So that's not changeable, right? That's not possible to change the name of the project for discovery.
Please go ahead, Christine.
Yes, thanks for Naz for that question. So for the discovery, non-personalized and you are ordering in advance, yes, we do require a project title, although you could just say, you could just leave it blank or just put a dash, or you could say Discovery Day 2025 or something like that if you're not sure of the project yet. In that way, it's like you are celebrating a whole, like a very big event for your students, even if they've completed different projects. But the project title would encompass like a very big event like Discovery Day 20 or June 2025, something like that.
So thank you for your answer. But quick question: if I put dash, does that mean that it would be a blank that we can fill in, or no? How would it look like on the
Yes,
certificate?
it would be like, so it's the project title won't be printed,
Yes.
and so you could just write on the certificates. I'm just going back to your comment in the chat box where you said that the discovery asked for a sample upload. We don't do that now. Previously we do, but we don't do that now for discovery. So what we do ask is just for you to confirm if the students have met the eligibility criteria. So yeah.
Okay, because I today I logged in. I think it did ask me to upload some sample, I think, but I will email to CREST if I will go on it again, and I will email CREST because that's a technical issue. The other thing is I did the bronze with my students and I have filled out evidence forms, but when I was just filling out the forms, so I did see the parts that you need to upload a sample of work, which we have the student passport. So I'm going to just upload a student passport most likely. However, where would I upload the evidence form? You know, it's an SEN. It was a group of SEN students doing bronze. So it would look like this. Where would how do I upload this? I didn't see a space in my submission form to put the supplemental evidence form for bronze.
Okay, so for bronze, there's a section there where you're asked to upload your what do you call this? The sample of work for bronze. So 1 second, let me see if I can show you that part.
I have seen that, but I also, so I have the student passport. However, I have for each of my students a bronze send student supplemental evidence form. So it says, I don't know how I upload this, or I need to email it, because
So
I couldn't locate a section to upload the evidence form, I think, for each of the students. Because for bronze, if students are just doing a conventional project, they need to, I think, do a profile form or something. But because these are SEN students, I filled it out for them. I observed them and saw what they did.
So for bronze, we only need a sample of the student's work. Let me just show you quickly if I could. So this is like an example of a bronze project. So these are the tasks that you needed to complete when you are applying or submitting for Bronze Award. So there's a section here. So after you completed, tell us about your project. There's a section called Upload Your Project Work, where you will need to upload the example Bronze Award student work sample.
So what's the stage after this? Because I reached this stage, I haven't scanned my file yet. I haven't uploaded to see what's the next page.
Sure. So the next stage would be the bronze assessment, where you will check the criteria which your students have met based on your assessment.
Okay, thank you for that. Because what I'm worried about is if I don't upload this and then the students miss out or they don't get the certificate because I did something wrong. So I'm happy to upload the passport, but I also was wondering, so I don't need to actually put the bronze send the student supplemental evidence form, because this is an SCN project that I'm doing.
Yeah.
Christine, would you suggest that she upload one of the supplemental forms as part of?
So if you could, so that we know that it's the project was done by an SEND, if you could upload a sample project work, like a photo of what they've done, if they've created something, and the SEND supplemental form, that would be really helpful. So yeah.
Okay, thank you. Just on that, can you please just give me some examples of sample work that, because I have the student passport, but they did a lot of work. They did like posters, they did a presentation. So I just want to know what is the best thing to upload. So the passport, I was going to put passport with additional some pictures and things, but I don't know what's the best example of sample.
The passport, the bronze. So, okay, the discovery we're referring to, the passport refers to like a discovery. The bronze workbook, do you mean?
Yes, sorry. Workbook.
Okay, yeah. So the bronze workbook is basically just synonymous to a completed project, because it basically, if you completed the bronze workbook, that's very easy for you then to assess which of the criteria, because basically the bronze workbook just ask the students to answer the questions based on the CREST criteria. So if they use that, then they're most likely to have achieved the or met the CREST criteria already. And it would be easier for you to assess their work if they use the bronze workbook.
Okay, so I can upload more than one file, right? As the evidence, just some pictures.
Yes, but yeah, just to save you admin time, we would say, because it's only for our moderation, for just moderation reasons, we would suggest that if you could upload just one, then that would be sufficient for us.
Thank you. Thanks a lot. Thank you very much.
Brilliant. Thank you, Christine. Welcome, Yvonne. Yvonne's just joined us and is another one of our buddies. Thank you for coming along today. I wondered if our buddies would answer some questions that we think might be helpful to other teachers who might be watching back this recording who haven't been able to attend. But again, Farnaz, if you have additional questions, please do jump in. Thinking about the submission process, so Farnaz has been talking about being on the application platform and wanting to submit for her CREST Awards. What sort of time would you say a teacher set aside to do that once a class has finished their CREST projects and you want to apply for the CREST Awards? Is it a 5-minute job? Is it a 15-minute job? Any thoughts you have about that would be helpful.
I'd definitely say if you've already noted down, especially with Star and Superstar, if you've already noted down what projects you want to do, then it is a very quick process. I'd say the only thing that makes it a little bit tricky is just trying to get all the data. So like how many send or how many like ethnic minorities and all of that might be the thing that takes a bit of time. Unless it depends how many people you've done it with. If it's just your class, you might be able to just do it off the top of your head. But if it's wider, a whole school, you might have to get that information before you sit down to do it.
Lovely, that's good advice. So to maybe have that demographic type information at the ready at the point at which you want to submit for your CREST Award. I was also interested, Christine, when you and Farnaz were talking about personalized certificates, and I think it's worth just pausing a minute and saying that the Star and the Superstar certificates, that's a bit of a tongue twister, are not personalized. So you don't have to put in the name of every child. They won't be printed on the certificates, but you have the option, correct me if I'm wrong, for Discovery to have a personalized certificate, and then the bronze, silver, and gold certificates all are personalized, so would expect to have a young person's name printed on them. So obviously any care taken with the spelling of those names, they'll be printed right on the certificates. Christine, can you just share with me and others, because I don't know the answer, what other information is printed on the certificate? So you talked a little bit about the project name. Is that printed on some of the other certificates? Maybe you could talk to that for just a minute.
Yeah, sure. So we do print, so for personalized Discovery, bronze, silver, and gold, we do print the student name, the project title, the school name, and the date when the project was completed or when it was submitted. So yeah, those are the 4 basic things that are printed on the certificates.
Super, thank you. Yes, Farnaz, go ahead.
So the date would be, so because I'm pre-ordering Discovery and Star and Superstar right now for next year, you will put the date that I submitted it for the certificates.
Yes.
That I'm ordering?
So by default we would, but if you could email us and say that, could you is it post date or pre-date? Yeah. Could you change the date of my certificates to a certain date, like ahead of time? We could do that for you.
Oh, okay. Another question, because I'm all new to this. So when I pre-order, for example, let's say a group of 10 Discovery, when do I get the certificates that I pre-order now? Do I get it electronically or printed, and when would I receive it?
Yeah, well, it's a tricky question because it would depend on your location, basically. So when you order your certificates, I'm pretty sure you're going to be using a voucher code to pay for that. So once that's been submitted, our certificates are printed every Wednesday. And then we do say there's like an estimated delivery timeline of 2 to 4 weeks after the print date. So yeah, just to like give you a buffer. So we say 2 to 4 weeks. So again, depending on where you are in the UK, and how efficient the Royal Mail would be in your part of the UK, then yeah, it would get to you in time. But if it went beyond like 4 weeks, you can get back to us and say, I haven't received my certificates, and then we could reprint them for you, if that's the case.
Thank you for that, because you raised about us being able to email you. Suppose I order today like 10 Discovery projects that I'm intending to finish in December. So I can submit this application and email CREST, the general email of CREST, and say, is it possible that you change the date to
Yes,
December 24, 25, please? Is that what we can do?
certainly. Yes,
From
we
the
can do
point
that.
of paying. Okay, thank you.
Thank you, and thank you, Christine. Yvonne and Lucy, I wonder if you can share any thoughts you had or some of your experiences about awarding the certificates. So have you, do you do the one-to-one? Have you had big sort of award ceremony at school? What's worked in your settings?
So we keep the CREST certificates for it, but I have a small school or 2 small schools. One school has 30 children and one school has 40 children in it. So we keep the certificates to the end of the term, to the end of the session, for our celebration of success, and that is the success under science or STEM. That we use the certificates just in that sort of general sort of like prize giving type celebration of success.
Lovely, thank you.
We last year did like a special assembly. I did try to get a CREST ambassador to come to deliver the certificates, but I just didn't get any interest on my post. So the head teacher gave the certificates, and there were lots of pictures of all the projects the children had done on the board that they were watching through, which was really lovely.
That's lovely, thank you. I think we've seen a few school newsletters, you know, where they've profiled young people receiving their certificates. I think sometimes schools invite parents, like if it's an award ceremony, as you're talking about, Yvonne, sometimes like an end of the year ceremony, and parents will come along and see their children receiving the certificates as well. I don't know if you have any plans for that, Farnaz, I guess a little bit in the future if you're thinking about December. Please go ahead.
I have another question. So basically, I just want to ask about your STAR challenges, because like I said, I'm in a secondary school, but I want to run a STAR or superstar for SCN students to make sure I widen participation in science. I had a look at, I started the application, and I reached the point that it says record your CREST STAR challenges. So it says select 6 to 8 CREST STAR challenges you intend to complete, for example, from drop-down list. So can you tell me a little bit? So the students need to complete 8 challenges, and if I can be in touch in one of the bodies who has experience in a STAR, superstar, it would be great. So I can, about a STAR with challenges, it would be great to get more information.
Yes, that young people need to complete a minimum of 6 challenges to be awarded a STAR or superstar. That changed this year from 8. So the idea being it was a little bit easier to fit into a term, which is more normally 6 weeks. A lot of schools might be doing like an activity a week. So we have changed that. And generally, they are from the resources that we have in our resource library, which I've just added a link for, but there might be other projects that you're involved with which would also meet the criteria. That's why there's a drop-down list, and I'm sure on the drop-down list someone will let me know whether there's an other choice. So if it doesn't fall into the one of the CREST resources that you've taken from the library, you can still choose other. Yes.
I have another question. So can a school make up their own project, and as long as it meets criteria, or no? How does that work?
Yep,
if you want to tailor something. So can you take me through the process of how we approach that? So we create a project. Do we need to, how much detail do we need to tell you, or do we need to?
You don't need to tell us anything at all. There's no assessment from us at head office about STAR and superstar at all. I am looking at the moment for STAR and superstar criteria, which we would encourage you to look at when you're designing the activity or the challenge, similar project. But no, you don't have to send anything to us or have us check anything over. Christine, do you want to add anything about that?
Yes, I could quickly show Farnaz like a tour of the application platform, just to show her what needs to be completed.
Okay.
So this is an example of a STAR project. So yeah, the first task that you needed to complete is the country or territory of registration. You tell us about your group, the usual demographic information, and then the one that you asked earlier, record your CREST STAR challenges. It might be that, you know, in your group, each child would complete different sets of 6 to 8 challenges, and that's okay. You could just pick the challenges that you wish to run, or you have ran with your kids. The most popular ones, again, we're not like monitoring or policing you which challenges you're running, but more of so for us, for our reference, to look at which of our resources are more popular than others. And then when after you've completed these the recording of the challenges, the next step or the next task would be to complete the payment, which again would ask you if you have a voucher code to use. And then after that, that's basically it. I know that you will be using a voucher code as part of the Buddies program. So yeah, it would be easier for you to complete this task. That helpful? Yes.
Thank you for your explanation. But basically, this is what I'm basically. I understand that these are all group projects. A Star, Superstar, Discovery, Bronze. It's supposed to be in a group. However, they do individual work. However, there is a student that we have in our setting who has very high needs. Yes, this is mainstream school, but she has very special needs that you would say she can't even qualify for special school. So I would say that the student really needs one-to-one and LSA to help her. So she may not be able to cope in a group. So can we tailor it to her, like that the teacher, the student does the work, but the teacher differentiates the work for her? Or no, it has to be for a group if she wants to do it. But I'm just thinking she would be at a disadvantage if she can't manage working within a group, but she's a child who is interested in science. So my question is, can we do it as a one-to-one when an LSA differentiates the work, helps her to access the work, but there is no other group members if she can't cope with it? That's what I'm asking.
Yes, I mean, coming from my experience with other inquiries coming to us, some teachers would adapt the the resource to based on their students' needs. So yeah, feel free to adapt the STAR activities or any of the Superstar activities you're running with this one student if that would be helpful for your student. So yeah.
And as we have worked, well, I've worked with other buddies who have had children with additional support needs or SEN needs, and that's very much what they did. They adapted the activities to suit their children. And I know that one of the recommendations for STAR and Superstar is that it's an hour-long activity, but they had felt that for some of their children that hour was far too long, and it needed to be, split into smaller amounts, maybe some of the outdoor tasks, maybe just half an hour one day and half an hour another day. Again, that one-to-one support is fine as well, and just adapting it to the needs of the child, whether it needs more time or less time or whatever.
Thank you. Thanks very much. I appreciate all your answers. Thank you.
Thank you, Yvonne. Thank you, Christine. And I think that the principle to come away with is that we really want young people to be able to experience getting a CREST Award. So we're not aiming to put barriers in the way, and you as an educator who's working with those young people every day know best about what adaptations are appropriate. And as long as you're sort of approaching the activity and the award with the principles of, open-ended exploration and being able to be part of exploring STEM in a practical, real-world way, it's probably going to be fine. I think you're best placed to make the right decisions about that learner, for certain. Lucy or Yvonne, do you have anything else you'd like to add about, any tips or advice you've got specifically about submitting or maybe assessing young people's work before you submit? Anything you want to add about that process? Because as Farnaz said, it'll be her first time doing some of these submissions and getting to grips with CREST.
One of my top tips is always to submit early, because you don't have to have done the projects before you actually submit, just because obviously the certificates can take quite a long time to arrive. And I always like doing our CREST Awards in the summer term and then doing like a nice big get together at the end of the year to celebrate them. So I've ordered them already in preparation for the end of the year.
Love it. Thank you. They can take 4 weeks.
I suppose it's not so much about the submission. Up until yesterday, in fact, I'd only done the star and the superstar. I did with my primary sevens yesterday, one of the discovery challenges, the machines of the future. And I have to say, I was incredibly impressed by the structure of how it was done, the easy links that, you know, to videos and to templates and stuff. And we had an excellent day. My primary sevens had an excellent day, and the learning from it was superb.
That's wonderful to hear. Thank you, Yvonne. I'm involved in the assessment of grants, so the Engage grants, and I see that one coming a lot up in applications. I think it's quite a popular resource, and you know, very timely. Young people are thinking about AI and learning about AI, and it's definitely been quite a popular pack.
Mm-hmm.
Just checking the message, Farnaz. Message any of the buddies regarding Star, Superstar Discovery projects tailored to SEN. Can I get back to you after the session? I have a list of basically what the buddies have the most experience with, and I'll put you in touch with someone. It's no trouble at all. Any closing thoughts? Any final questions? Really appreciate you being here, Lucy and Yvonne. And Farnaz, I hope it's been helpful for you to think ahead to submitting your CREST projects, and Christine for giving us a look at the actual online platform, which I would have failed to do. Okay. Well, thank you very much for coming along. You can reach us anytime at crest@britishscienceassociation.org. And thank you very much for attending.
Thank you.
Take care.
Bye.
Thank you. Bye.